Hello and welcome to SEO is Not That Hard. I'm your host, Ed Dawson, the founder of keywordspeopleuse.com, the place to find and organise the questions people ask online. I'm an SEO, developer, affiliate marketer and entrepreneur. I've been building and monetising websites for over 20 years and I've bought and sold a few along the way. I'm here to share with you the SEO knowledge, hints and tips I've built up over the years. Hi, this is episode 85 of SEO is Not That Hard, and today I'm going to be asking the question, should we be giving up on Google search, or should you give up on Google search if you've been hit recently? But before I get into that, I just wanted to say that at the moment I'm looking for people to send in any SEO questions they've got. There's a link in the show notes where you can record a short question. You can ask me anything you want and you could get featured in a future podcast. But with that said, let's get on with the rest of the show. So at the moment, obviously with the Google updates going on, the Google spam update actually finished rolling out a few days ago on the 20th of March. So one of the two updates is now completed. So if you've still got your traffic, then you know at least it's not the spam one that you're being hit for. But obviously this time we've still got the core update still rolling out, and there's probably at least another week at the time you'll be listening to this that it will still be going on. Now, lots of people have been hit, and lots of gurus have been hit, lots of SEO influencers have been hit, and I'm seeing a lot of people out there saying they're going to pivot. Pivot is one of the words of these updates, where we've got lots of influencers, especially who've been hit, and they're now talking about how they're going to pivot to other traffic sources. So they are saying they've had it with Google and they're going to go elsewhere. And I've also seen lots of other people who, aren't influencers, but are equally as downhearted on where to get traffic from and downhearted with Google, and are looking to move away and say, we're giving up on Google. They're saying they don't need Google anymore. Is this the right thing to do? Is this the right way to spend your time and efforts? Because obviously, we've all only got so many hours in the day. We've all only got so many resources. So we have to pick and choose where to go to get the best result in the long run for ourselves. So should we be moving away from Google? Now, how I'm going to answer this question is by not getting emotional about it, not being annoyed with Google, because I can understand how it's annoying. And I've been there, lost traffic. I know it's annoying and you do get very emotional. It is like the 7 stages of grief. But if we go back, take a step back and say, actually, let's look at the data. What are the other options? What you need to do is you need to look at where traffic comes from on the internet. And just recently, SparkToro did a study where they looked and they collated all the data around who the web's largest traffic referrers are. So this is where we can look and say, right, where are the places that send traffic out onto the web? And they looked at Google, Bing, Microsoft, YouTube, Facebook, a whole bunch of places. So there's hundreds and hundreds of referrers. Now I'll put a link to this report in the show notes, but the basic highlights of it are that Google sends 63.41% of all web traffic. So they send 2/3 of all traffic to websites comes from Google. Of the remaining third, let's have a look who the big players are. Next, we've got Microsoft and Bing, who send 7.21% of traffic. So that's almost 10 times less traffic is sent by by Bing than compared to Google. Next, we've got YouTube on 3.57%, Facebook on 3.54%, Reddit on 2.95%, Twitter 2.31%, Yahoo 1.9%, DuckDuckGo 1.86%, Instagram 0.84%, Amazon 0.82%, LinkedIn 0.69%, 0.56%, and then the next 155 sites send 10.34%. So you can see amongst them, there's not even one that really has a big share. Bing, Microsoft, they send a bit. But, if you're doing one in Google, you'll do one in Bing. There's not like all of a sudden you're going to suddenly be able to recover your lost Google traffic by relying on Bing. You'll still get some from them, but you're never going to get back, you're going to get back like a ninth, a 10% of that traffic. The reality of it is that if you want significant amounts of traffic from the web, you need to be in Google. And, with few exceptions, depending on your niche, you might find that you can build an audience on YouTube or Facebook. But again, with all of these places, you're still playing in someone else's garden. You're sitting in someone else's sandpit, and they're going to have their rules, and those rules are going to be subject to change at time. I remember it was a while ago, people used to get lots of traffic from Facebook, and then Facebook all of a sudden just changed their rules and just cut off that flow of traffic, and everyone then had to start advertising. So while it's understandable to be very frustrated and want to sort of stick the finger to Google and say, well, I'm going to go off and do my own thing, the reality is that's not really an option. If you do that, you're really cutting off your nose to spite your face. Now, I know that's easy to say. And if you're in the situation where you've lost your traffic or a good chunk of your traffic, then it's no real consolation. And I'm sorry to say there is no quick fix to go somewhere else to get your traffic. But there is a way back in Google. There's always a way back. It's, as I say, I've been there myself. I was heavily penalised back in times of Panda and Penguin, to the point where we lost all of our Google traffic, bar a tiny little trickle. But we sat down, we worked through it, we honestly appraised our site and our methods and what we were doing, looked at what Google actually wanted, and changed and experimented it and got that traffic back. And it took time. But if we'd back then said, that's it, we're not bothering with Google, we never would have got anywhere else, with any other traffic source. We might have got a little bit here and there, but would we have ever built back up to where we recovered with Google? No way, because Google is the only game in town when it comes to significant traffic. So, while I understand everybody who wants to walk away from it, there isn't really a pivot. There isn't a pivot away from Google. The pivot is to look at your site, look at your content, and decide what is it we're going to change. And sometimes that pivot might just be to say, actually, that site, that niche, whatever we're working on, we're going to throw that away. We're going to start again from scratch. And yes, that's difficult. But at least this time, starting from scratch, there's so many things you will know that you didn't know in previous times before. Even if it's just on the basics on how to set a website up, how to register domains, how to get a website set up, how to get designed, and where to find people to do things. There's such a head start you have got when you're in that situation, even if you are completely starting again from scratch. But the truth of the matter is that Google is where the traffic is at. And yep, it's a monopoly. Yep, it's unfair. Yep, there are issues. Yep. Is it how the world should be? No, it shouldn't. But you can't deny the facts. That's actually how it is. And we can rail and rail and rail against the how unfair that is, how one-sided that relationship is. But if you want to build websites, if you want to get traffic, if you want to grow a business online, then you need to have traffic from Google. You need to work out where you've gone wrong and where to move forward. And even if you haven't lost traffic, even if you're just plateauing, even if you've grown and you're at plateau and you don't know where to go next, the place is Google. The traffic is on Google. Now, with everything, there's obviously going to be exceptions to the rule. So, for example, there are some niches where YouTube will work well. That's if you're trying to teach people something or build a personal brand, which is why you find lots of people who are telling you how to get traffic will suggest, hey, come on YouTube, I do really well. But look, they are very specific niches, and a lot of their upside on there is selling courses and things like that, which is different to running a website. If you're, say, an e-commerce site, or if you are doing display advertising or affiliate advertising, YouTube might not be the way. Again, some people do well on Facebook, and that will work in certain niches for the kind of content that people are looking for and will be attracted by when they're on Facebook, but it doesn't work for most sites. I mean, if you're looking at trying to decide and experiment with other things, I would say look at the graph, use that to determine how much time you should spend on certain places. So yeah, to me, it's 2/3 your time on Google. And then, well, I should say it's even more than that, because if you could say Google plus Bing together is, 70+%, and, you should really be spending 70% of your time on search engines. And then, you spend a bit the rest of your time. Yeah, experiment with YouTube, experiment with Facebook. You might find there is traffic there for you, depending on your niche. But even with those done well, the majority of your traffic is going to come from search engines and Google in particular. So I would still, and my strategy is still to keep concentrating on search traffic like that, because that is where the people are, and that is where people are sending traffic. And Google do want to send traffic out to people. All the other sources tend to like keeping the traffic to themselves. So Facebook likes to keep you in Facebook, Instagram likes to keep you in Instagram. They don't actually want to send traffic elsewhere, whereas Google do want to send traffic elsewhere. Okay, yeah, they do keep plenty for themselves. I'm not saying they don't, but in general, their business relies on their organic results being good, because that's what draws people in, which means they can then put their adverts on and that's how they earn their money. If people weren't going there to find other places, then that's it. Game over for Google. And even with SGE and all these other AI things coming along, there is still going to be a role on Google for sending people to other websites, and that's its core. So yeah, don't be disheartened. Don't give up on Google, because I think you can, and I've seen it happen before in the past with other updates where people have said, I'm going to go here, go there, do this, the next big new thing. And I've still never, ever seen anyone really, mainstream it, be able to get a guaranteed sort of traffic to beat what they could do on Google from anywhere else. So yeah. So if you're in that situation where you have lost traffic, then the way to recover in the long run is to get back in on Google, even if that means starting again from scratch. That is the way forward as far as I'm concerned, and I wouldn't recommend anything else. Before I go, I just wanted to let you know that if you'd like a personal demo of our tools at Keywords People Use, that you can book a free, no obligation, one-on-one video call with me, where I show you how we can help you level up your content by finding and answering the questions your audience actually have. You can also ask me any SEO questions you have. You just need to go to keywordspeopleuse.com/demo, where you can pick a time and date that suits you for us to catch up. Once again, that's keywordspeopleuse.com/demo, and you can also find that link in the show notes of today's episode. Hope to chat with you soon. Thanks for being a listener. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe and share. It really helps. SEO is not that hard. It's brought to you by keywordspeopleuse.com, the place to find and organise the questions people ask online. See why thousands of people use us every day. Try it today for free at keywordspeopleuse.com. To get an instant hit of more SEO tips, then find the link to download a free copy of my 101 quick SEO tips in the show notes of today's episode. If you want to get in touch, have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. I'm at Channel 5 on Twitter. You can email me at podcast@keywordspeopleuse.com. Bye for now, and see you in the next episode of SEO is Not That Hard.